Example 14. The cost function for Q units of a certain item is C of Q equals 104Q plus 90. The revenue function for the same item is R of Q is 104Q plus 54Q divided by ln of Q. A, find the marginal cost. So that means we're supposed to find C prime of Q. Find the profit function. Well, that means we need to take our revenue of Q, take away our costs at Q, and find the profit from one more unit sold when 8 units are sold. That means once we've found this profit function of Q, we need to find P prime of 8. So our marginal cost is the derivative of the cost function. So C prime of Q is going to be 104. B, find our profit function. Well, that's going to be our revenue minus our costs. And so that's going to be 104Q plus 54Q over the natural log of Q minus, and here's where you got to be careful, we're minusing the entire cost function. So you have to be sure you minus both parts. So 104Q plus 54Q divided by the natural log of Q minus 104Q minus 90. So you've got to be sure you minus not just the 104, but also the 90. These are going to go to 0 because they subtract. I'm going to be left with 54Q divided by the natural log of Q minus 90. And then part C, remember this is our profit of Q. We're going to find P prime of Q, and then once we found that, we'll find P prime of 8. So the derivative of the profit function, well, we have a quotient here. So I'm going to need the quotient rule. The derivative of the 90 is going to be a 0, so I need to focus on this. 54Q is my numerator. Natural log of Q is my denominator. So my derivative of my numerator is 54, and the derivative of my denominator is 1 over Q. So my derivative of the profit is going to be denominator, natural log of Q, times the derivative of the numerator, 54, minus the numerator, 54Q, times the derivative of the denominator, 1 over Q. All of that is over the denominator squared, so natural log of Q, all of that squared. It's not just Q squared, it's the entire natural log squared. Here I can reduce these Q's. That's going to be a division of 1, so that's gone. I'm going to write the 54 in the front simply because I don't want it to end up under that natural log. So 54 natural log of Q minus 54 divided by the natural log of Q quantity squared. So from here on out, it's just calculator. It's 54 times the natural log of 8 minus 54 over the natural log of 8 quantity squared. So if you want to get this right, You either have to put parentheses around the numerator if you want to put the whole thing in once, or what I usually recommend is just get a number for the numerator. 54 times the natural log of 8 minus 54 gives me 58.28984325. I usually write as many places as my calculator shows, and then at the very end I confirm how many places I need. In this case it's 2. Then I'm going to do, and I got to be careful here, I'm going to put my natural log of 8 in parentheses. So parentheses, natural log of 8, close parentheses twice, squared. So it looks on your calculator like this. Parentheses, natural log, 8, parentheses, parentheses, squared. That's 4.32, 4077. And that should be enough since I'm going to only go to 2 places. Right? So I'm going to now, for the last step, divide these 2 numbers. 4 places is probably enough, rounded to 2 places. So 58.2898 divided by 4.3241 is about 13.48. So the profit from one more unit, that is the 9th unit, okay? 8 units are sold, so this is the profit for the next one because it's how it's changing at 8, is $13.48.